Okay, I'll start the recording. So, hi everyone, and thanks for coming to the Dash call. Today is I hope you can see my screen. Today is our 174th meeting, so we've been meeting a long time. Um, this synopsis here is what I sent the last time, and it was our work. Like I had said, we didn't meet the first Wednesday of March, and then I was out, so I just put together all the work while I was gone, and I came up with this report. So the last time we had, 87 PRs created and 70 merged, and I just kind of did a little reporting here with, of course, SONiC management and SONiC build image being, the most popular repos. So just FYI there. If you're not receiving these comms, let me know and I'll make sure that you get added. That's just the top of fold up here. And then if you want to read everything we went through, it tends to be more down at the bottom and all the PRs open and closed. And then the very bottom, the links to the videos. So you can go ahead and look at those. So yeah, if you're not getting those, and any feedback if this is too long, like I said in the past, or not useful to you or useful, let me know. Any questions there? Nope. Okay, so this last time, this is my screen here. This last time since we met last week, we've had 26 PRs created, so just in the last 7 days, and we've had 21 merged. So this is just how I query this at the beginning. And I thought a couple themes were interesting. We had some HA work that was done again and some cherry picks to 2025-11. There was one I wanted to show you guys specifically. It was around, oh, there's an HA reconfigure test. It was around, it looks like we're going to have a draft version of the System Health HLD, and that's Ramesh at Cisco. It'll probably take a while, but I just wanted to let you know that's there. Is that right, Ramesh?
That's correct, Krishna. Yeah, actually, I kind of almost there, but I just wanted to put it in a draft since I was busy with other things. So
Yeah.
hopefully, maybe sometime in a couple of weeks, I would
Yeah.
just refine that and update.
Right. That's great. I just wanted to let you know I noticed it. And then we also had we had the Azure dedicated team coming in last time and they were doing the inner source Mac rewrite. And it looks like I think his name is Alan picked that up and did a different PR for it here. Picked that up from Sumya. So not sure if you guys want to see this one, but um it's open and he was adding a SONiC management test and doing things for Azure Dedicated. He wanted to validate the scale for T0. So just FYI there. I think that one's looking for a merge. And then it looks like we have a high-level design for Southbound ZMQ. And I am not sure who Ender Next Hop is. Let me check this real quick. But it looks like we have a high-level design between Agent and SyncD. So this is still open, but if you guys are interested in this one or want to read it, you're welcome to. Just looks like they have some diagrams and some markdown. Yeah, looks like here. So we have that.
Awesome. Do you know, hey guys, Christina, do
Hi,
you know we
Michael.
have the PR for the counters and metrics, the one?
I thought that was merged
It
the
was
last
merged?
time we
Okay.
talked. Was there
I think
additional?
the PR was merged, but I think implementation was still pending, right? On the
Let me
Cisco
think.
side.
Yeah, go ahead, Srini. Sorry.
I think we were doing the lip side. I think the The other parts needs to be talked, right? I think that was on Prince going to look at it.
Also, the implementation. Okay, but the Lipsai was fully merged
Lipsa
into the
is done.
implementation. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Lipsa, this is AMD Lipsa is matched, but I think that's what one thing is like. We need to update into the 2025-11,
Mhm, mhm,
the
mhm,
117.5 version.
mhm.
I sent a mail yesterday to Prince and Prabhat, the thread, the Christina.
I see. Cool.
Was I
Yeah.
on that, Srini?
You might be there.
Okay.
I'll check
I'll
on that.
check. I'll check my email.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think 2 weeks ago, when I was discussing, I think from Lawrence from our side, he was mentioning that there is some discrepancy, I think, in the documentation, and based on this, potentially with some of the implementation of how we are handling last mile between the VM uh, and the basically DPU in the VM mode, not the floating mode, but the VM mode. And I think the design that was there, the original design was saying that the last mile will be handled by specific one single GRE key, uh, if I'm not mistaken. So this I think this was the original design for the last mile that we have long time back. And I think because this was the long time back design, the actual implementation that we had in Azure actually evolved because the last mile having one single GRE key was considered too little entropy to maintain sufficient level of isolation as the scale increases. So it was, I think, the time in Azure, at least in our implementation, was designed that last mile will not be using hard-coded GRE key, one single one for all the last mile, but I think was using the VNet GRE key because like every single VNet has a different GRE key for different entropy. So I know that I had this discussion with uh, Lawrence, I think, last last 2 weeks, and he was supposed to work with community to kind of resolve this documentation mismatch. I believe the difference is that because you were working very closely with AMD actually uses the VNet GRE key for the last mile. Uh, but I think the problem was that it was not fully reflected in in the documentation, potentially even modeling. So it is handled implicitly, not explicitly. And I believe from the NVIDIA side, uh, this from the code perspective needs to be adjusted to potentially use the VNet GRE key. I think this was the latest that I was discussing with Lawrence. I'm not quite sure. Did Lawrence discuss this with you guys?
No, I don't think
Okay.
this came up. Senthil, are you aware of anything on the AMD side?
But I think on the AMD side we are fine because we are using
Yeah.
VNet GRE key. I think the
Okay.
problem on the AMD side may have been potentially that in the modeling we are specifying one specific one instead of VNet GRE key. But I think the actual implementation change that potentially needs to be aligned with this kind of VNet GRE key instead of hard-coded GRE key for increased entropy was the on the NVIDIA side, if I'm not mistaken, from what I was discussing with Lawrence. So. Yeah, just FYI, the last mile. If Lawrence haven't discussed, I think he may have discussed, but if not, I'll ping him.
Well,
Yeah,
we have Prabhat on the call. I'm sorry, while we were talking, I
yeah,
was
or
trying to
maybe
find
Prabhat, you remember?
I was trying to find the spot in the HLD, but were you aware of that, Prabhat?
Sorry, I just joined.
Sure.
What are the questions?
The last mile and using the GRE key of this hard coded versus the VNet GRE key on the last mile between the DPU and VM in the VM mode. The one that we discussed, I think, 2 weeks ago on our Friday meetings. I think Lawrence brought up the time that there was some discrepancy that.
I thought he fixed that.
He fixed that?
in the-
Okay.
Yeah. I saw a Sonic management update from him.
Okay, so he added this in Sonic management update. Okay. So maybe it was not the modeling, maybe it was just a test.
Yeah, I can follow up with him and confirm.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just looking real quick here. No, that was a long time ago. Okay. Right. Got it. Well, I guess we'll check on that, Michael.
Yeah, I will cross check. So last Friday was a Good Friday, so I was not on the our internal meeting that we had, but I would check offline.
Okay. All right.
Because
now
I thought that he need to also update some documentation, but maybe it was not the case.
Yeah, if it was the documentation updated, it would be here at the high level design probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the dash HLD. So this is the overall one where it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Quick to
All
check.
right.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. So let's see. So this was the set of PRs that were created, and then we have the ones that were merged. And so thought this one was interesting. We've reverted the test floating nickname change here. That was Lawrence. And we did an introduction of Keepalives for ZMQ client and ZMQ server. So that one is interesting. So I guess it was getting lost. So we did a patch, and that was Prabhat. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Prabhat, or if it's pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think the issue is also mentioned there. Basically, after DPU reboot or restart, the first object was not programmed correctly, so this addresses that.
Yeah, thanks for fixing that. And then I guess the last one I thought was super interesting. Had support for HASEC counters. It was more on the first page. This one, test NVGRE and cap for floating NIC scenario.
Yeah. Christina, can you later open the SONiC HLD section 2.2? I think I found maybe when there was not updated.
Yeah, let me look here. 2.2 inbound packet processing.
In this packet processing, there is like a VNI lookup where the direction is being set, and I think the wording here is the direction is being set based on the VNI. But it says inner desk MAC versus local MAC, right? But it also says based on the VNI. So I just want to make sure that it's not in the implementation part. It's not only like if VNI is dead, this is the direction, but because the specific VNI, as right now we are using the VNet VNI there, which has more entropy, because in the DPU in the shared mode that it may host multiple customers, right? So different customers, even for the last mile, will be using their own VNIs, but the traffic can be coming from the outside or inside, right? So here the inbound versus outbound is actually look up based on the whether the ENI MAC is on the destination MAC or inner MAC. So I think that's the part here that maybe potentially in this diagram or this documentation was not fully updated. I know that implementation-wise, because the lookup direction is not just like if this VNI that is the direction, this is the other VNI, the direction is different, is that the same VNI can right now fly on inbound and also outbound. So it's depending whether the MAC is on the source versus destination side for the VN stuff. So I think Prabhat, maybe it was not yet fully updated in the documentation.
I see. So yeah, maybe the HLD was not updated, but I think on the implementation and test side, I think it's we can. I think this is mostly from the VNet to VNet scenario that we have it here. Yeah.
Yeah, VNet to VNet, but mostly from the last mile when there is like a VM backed, right? Not floating, but VM backed DPU, right? That's for the scenario. Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think this documentation will need to be slightly updated, right? Because we kind of evolved this, but we forgot the documentation update. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Okay. So someone will create a PR and get that updated then.
Yeah, I think this should be on our side. Yes.
Okay. Then I guess I am almost. We had a lot more HA work done there. We got Keepalives. Oh, we talked about that. I guess those are the last ones I thought were super interesting, are the ones that I wanted to talk about. So I'll turn it over to you guys. Marsha, is there anything you wanted to cover from hardware testing at this point?
Yeah, for the last week, I'm fighting with a problem, and I'm curious if anyone has any ideas. So I'm trying to use PTF container to push the dash config using the GNMI client in the PTF container. Now, when I do so, SONiC management, PTF container, this path, it takes, let's say, for a file, 7 seconds. If I run the GNMI agent container, now the PTF one, on the NPU itself, it takes about 0.7 seconds. So configs that usually take, let's say, 2 minutes to load, take about 25 minutes to load if I use
That's a big one.
SONiC management and PTF. And, I try to dig around, I try to use AI, but AI apparently every time it suggests a performance improvements wants to circumvent the system, which defies the purpose of pushing a dash config. It kind of wants to go directly to the database and to NPU. I don't know. Does anyone has any ideas or suggestions? I already look at batch size. It's 1,000 something. I was using on the NPU 600, so that's not the problem.
And this is degradation, Mircea, from the previous firmware? Or?
No, it's not. It's not a degradation at all. It's just different setup. So if I push the config from the NPU using the GNMI agent container, it's, let's say, fast. If I push it from SONiC management test via GNMI agent, which is inside the PTF container, it's 10 times slower. And I don't know if anybody experienced or has experience using the dash config via GNMI agent from PTF container to push configs, and I don't know if they have any advice.
That's a good question. So, Mircea, one interesting stuff from the point of view of our SDN control plane, right? We definitely will be calling this from the outside of the SONiC to push.
Correct.
Push this, right? Yeah. So this specific container that you are talking about was inside the SONiC? It was calling basically just GNMI on the local host, just from the container, or it was outside of the SONiC?
Yeah, it was in the NPU. I installed the container alongside all the other containers in the NPU.
I see.
The container with GNMI agent, and I was just calling it there on the NPU, so I don't have to need another system and so on. But since I automated the test to run through SONiC management, I needed that. And then I saw there was a GNMI agent already in the PTF container, so I'm like, okay, I'll use that one since it's already there.
Is the production path, Prabhat, is the production path going to be like this, or will there be, how is that expected? Production
from
path?
outside. From outside.
It'll be from outside. It'll be from outside. But this seems like something to do with the PTF itself. Maybe, Mircea, can you send an email to me and Lawrence? We can take a look. Me, Lawrence, and Prince.
Okay, sure. I'll send you an email and I'll send you kind of how I call it and the code snippet.
I think this is what you were trying on Monday when we spoke, I guess, right? So,
this is what I'm trying since last week. I finished every single the test, and then I saw it was 10 times slower. And although worked, I didn't like how it worked.
Yeah. Thanks, Marsha.
Thanks.
So anyone else have a PR they want to cover? Okay. So we had a lot of other things happen, but
Christina, one thing, right?
Yes.
We don't have a PR, but I sent an email to Prince and Prabhat. This is what I was saying earlier. We need to merge the V117.5 into 2025-11 branch, right? So that we can do the complete SONiC build to
117.5.
Yeah, Psi version into the 2025-11 SONiC.
Could we do that, Prabhat?
Yeah, so I think Srini, I sent, I responded on that chat.
Oh, okay, you did already.
So I created.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry, Krishna, can you add me to the chat because I'm not on that? I think I'll send completely.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Maybe I'm missing that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Prabhat.
Okay. All right. Okay. So then, I think the last thing, in case people didn't hear when they joined, I think next week is spring break, guys. So I think I'll go ahead and cancel this call for next week, but I'll still keep an eye on the PRs, week over week, if that works for you guys. And so I would see you on the, let's see, what's the date? If we don't meet on the 15th, then I would see you all on the 22nd, if that works for you guys.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right. Thanks everyone for coming. I'll send the notes, etc., and I'll get you added to that group, Srini. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great day. Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.